Good morning, YouTubers. Alaska Prepper here. I hope you're having a good morning so far, or evening or afternoon, depending on what part of the world you're in. Hey, as you can see, the Steemit account for the Alaska Prepper channel is doing pretty well. I've gotten a few followers here in the last couple of weeks. So if you're on Steemit and you're not following me, please go ahead and look me up. You can see my name right there, Alaska Prepper. And all you have to do is follow, and I'd appreciate your support. Having said that as well, I just finished watching an episode from the Oppenheimer Ranch report. And just for reporting the news, YouTube is demonetizing him. And he doesn't have any content on his post that, in my opinion, breaks any of the community guidelines, and he's still getting demonetized. So if you guys want to follow his channel on Steemit, his channel on Steemit is not the Oppenheimer Ranch project. It's Solar Shutdown. So you can look him up there if you guys want to support him as well, because he puts out outstanding content. Same thing with the Ice Age Farmer. Okay, the Ice Age Farmer, let's take a look. I know I have the Ice Age Farmer here. I'm following the Ice Age Farmer. Here's the Ice Age Farmer. So if you look up Ice Age Farmer on Steemit, you should be able to find him as well. And I'll see about leaving both of their links for Steemit on there as well. We need to support these guys, ladies and gentlemen, because they're not being funded by any governmental organizations. They're not being funded, period. They run their operations solely on what they earn from these platforms. And what they're doing, in my opinion, is something really great, which is trying to wake people up and let them know what's going on, the real truth of what's going on around the world when it comes to the climate and when it comes to food production, so that we can be prepared in the future. So, having said that, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a subscriber to the Alaska Prepper channel, or if you just stumbled across this video and you're watching, first of all, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. I think that the value you get would be, worthy of your subscription. I would like to think so. And I would appreciate your support. But however, if you're not prepping, if you're watching these videos and you're still not prepping, or if you are prepping and you're just, kind of like just getting started, I'm not trying to be a gloom and doomer when you listen to me make these videos. What I tell you on these videos really is what I do. And I make mistakes. Just like the coffee. I was looking at how much coffee I have stored away. And, I've got a pretty good loss, because I've got other cans of coffee, like the ones you saw me open the other day, that are just as old. And I haven't opened them yet, but I'm sure that they're going to be spoiled. Just like the ones I opened are. So now I'm going to have to adjust. But I'm really glad that I made that mistake and let you guys know about it. That way you won't make the same mistake. Because I'm looking at how many cans of coffee I'm going to have to get rid of. And I could have probably bought, 200 pounds of rice with that money. And that rice would have still been good. Instead, that money went to waste. And hopefully, I can justify it not really going to waste, because my mistake, hopefully, people that watch this won't make that same mistake. Okay, because I would hate to tell someone, hey, go ahead and spend $8 or $9 on a can of coffee, just so that 2 or 3 years later, it's going to go bad. And me here sitting telling you, oh yeah, this coffee's 3 or 4 years old and it's in great condition, it tastes great. No. In my experience, now having done it, it's not. It won't last. So I'm going to go ahead and change how I prep on coffee. And even though coffee is not, I mean the freeze-dried coffee is not as tasty, in my opinion, as regular fresh ground coffee, I'm going to go ahead and start prepping some freeze-dried coffee. Now, I also had a subscriber tell me about storing coffee in the green form. And let me make sure that I give credit where credit is due. Steve Morris just sent me a message, and he told me that for long-term coffee storage that I should buy the green coffee, that it stores a lot better. So I'm going to look into that and see what happens. Unfortunately, the thing is it'll take a few years for me to really be able to put that into practice. Even if I get some today, you know, it'll take a while for me to, you know, pack it and then just let it sit there for a while. And then I would have to imagine I would have to roast it and then grind it and try it out. But I'll give it a try and see what happens. But ladies and gentlemen, this video that I'm doing, I'm just going to read off a few articles. And I just want to, like I said, I don't want to be an alarmist, because I don't think that people doing things out of fear is very productive, okay? I think that you need to sit back when you listen to something, see how you feel about it, you know, determine whether you think that the information is valid by doing your own research, and then act on what you came up with. All right, act on how you feel that the situation is. Okay, but what I want to read to you is I really believe that a food shortage will be coming in the next year or 2 or 3. And I say year or 2 or 3. I really believe that in the next year or 2, we are going to be having serious food shortages around the world, not necessarily in this country. I think that in this country there won't really be, and when I say in this country, I mean by the United States. I don't think there will really be a food shortage because we waste so much food. But what I think will happen is that food will become really expensive here in the U.S. because now, instead of wasting all of the food that we normally waste on an average day, now people are going to buy less food because food is going to be more expensive, but they're going to find ways to stretch that food out. So instead of throwing away, let's say, half of a fruit because half of the fruit doesn't look good, maybe it's got spots or something in it. And I'm talking like, for example, a restaurant. Let's say they throw away half of a fruit that they're using or half of a vegetable because it's got spots or something. They're going to use the whole thing. They're going to use the whole thing and condition the population that spotted fruits or fruits that don't look perfect or okay to eat, you know, which they are. And, you know, or they're going to use those parts of the fruits for other things. But in my opinion, food will get more expensive and we won't go hungry here in the U.S. per se, because people go hungry in the U.S. every day. But I mean in a massive way. But food will become more expensive, and the food that we do have at our disposal will be used more wisely. But the key point here for the U.S. is that I feel that food will become a lot more expensive. Now, for the other parts of the world, I think food will also become a lot more expensive. But there are other parts in the world where they already use their food that they have very sparingly. Like, take a look at the majority of China, okay? The majority of China are not rich. You know, they don't have extravagant lifestyles. You know, the majority of China are still very low middle class to poor. And those people, they use their food to the max that they can use it. They don't waste very much. Okay, but look at India, all right? Look at Africa. Those countries are, most of those countries right there in Africa, they already have food shortages. The price of food there is already high. Imagine it getting 2-3 times higher. So having said that, I'm just going to read a few short articles. And there were many more, ladies and gentlemen. There were many more than these. And I just couldn't keep, clicking on them because there's no way that I can do a video that would cover all of them. And the nice thing about this is that I got most of these articles from the same website, for which I will provide the link. So let me start off so I don't make this video extra long. Okay, the first one is National Cold Spell. Oh, having said that, for the global warming people out there, I'm not comparing global warming to global cooling or anything like that, okay? Because I know I have a couple of people out there, and it's okay. I don't mind it at all. Like I said before, I don't mind criticism at all, okay? But I have a couple people that they get obsessed over trying to debate me on global warming and global cooling. And I'm not having a debate, okay? Because I can come back and you can come back 1,000 times with a different chart or a different report or whatever. If you want to prep for global warming, more power to you. As long as you're prepping. That's all that matters to me. As long as you prep, okay? We can disagree on ideology. We can disagree on science. But the one thing that I won't disagree on is that we need to be prepping. If somebody comes down here and says, we don't need to prep, the government will take care of us, or nothing's going to happen, that I will disagree 100% with. But that I will disagree 100% with, and I won't tolerate it, because I know that's not true. But as far as your ideology about the climate, as far as any criticism that you may have, we can disagree and still agree to prep. Because as far as I'm concerned, being prepared for anything is more important than what any individual may think. I hope that makes sense. So let me start off real quick. A national cold spell hits agricultural productions. The nationwide cold spell during the Qingming Festival, April 4th through the 20th of this year, is already a month ago. And this article is about a month old, roughly. Okay? But the influence of this record cold snap is still affecting apple production areas in Shaanxi, Gansu, Ningxi, and Shandong. And obviously they're talking about China here. It's also affected almost all fruit production areas in the north. The damage was most severe for apple trees. The damage was relatively severe for walnut, cherry, and wild pepper. Peach, yali pear, apricot, and potatoes, as well as Chinese cabbage, were also affected to various degrees. Several companies and internet forums estimated that the overall apple production will shrink with a volume of 10 to 15 million tons, which is a decrease of 20 to 40% since the frost struck during the Qingming Festival. When most fruit trees are in their flowering period, the cold mostly affects flowers and young fruit. In other words, the real damage will be felt when the fruit matures. The production volume will be much smaller this year. Okay, that was the first one. The second one, carrying on. Mango growers feel the heat as Pakistan tackles climate change. Winters have been longer for a few years now, and this is a quote. Winters have been longer for a few years now due to climate change, which has been impacting yield. Moreover, there were frequent hailstorms and strong winds, which forced production of mangoes to drop. There's water shortages as well. All these have adversely affected not only mango production, but agriculture as a whole, he added. And having said that also, ladies and gentlemen, I have a brother that lives in the Dominican Republic, and he's told me a similar story. And not that it's getting colder or anything like that, but he's told me that a lot of his avocado trees are not yielding the same amount that they've yielded in the past. Okay, let's see. Going on. Another big hailstorm hits China. Man, China's getting hammered. On the afternoon of May 15th, agricultural areas in Shaanxi and Henan provinces were struck by hail. It was followed by frost and became a catastrophe for the farmers. At 2:30 on the afternoon of May 15, the hailstorm suddenly came to Changlu County in Shaanxi. It continued for about 40 minutes, and the diameter of the hailstones was about 40 millimeters. Ladies and gentlemen, 40 millimeters is about 1 1/3 feet. So bigger than 1 foot hailstones. The storm has caused a lot of damage to crops and agricultural facilities. Wow. Imagine being out in one of those hailstorms. 1 foot in diameter hails. Which reminds me, yesterday I was standing outside my porch and it just started hailing for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then it just stopped all of a sudden, which was kind of weird. But here we go. Here's the next one. National cold spell hits agricultural production. And I believe this one here is talking about the U.S. Nope, it's not talking about the U.S. The national cold spell during... Okay. Let me see. I think this article here that I'm starting to read kind of segues off the last article in Shaanxi. But I'm going to read it anyways. Let's take a look. The national cold spell during the Qingming Festival, April 4th to 20th, is already a month ago. I already read that article. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to work with one hand. I'm still in the Stone Ages as far as technology goes. Okay, here's the next one. Drought will bring more crop disease. New Zealand scientists warn. New Zealand's land-based primary industry need to get ready for more and more serious crop disease as climate change causes more and longer droughts, according to new research. So New Zealand is getting hit. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is only a few of the articles. There was several more. Okay, France, from 27 to -5 degrees in Normandy. The climatic conditions in Normandy were extreme. We went from very hot to very cold, says Patrick Graul of the Jardins de Normandie. Saturday, April 21st. It was 27 degrees, whereas last Monday, the wind chill was -5. And he's talking, I do believe he's talking about Celsius. And there was even snow. Thankfully, most vegetations were spared. Patrick continues, Normandy production is mainly located in the department of Manche. The snow in the beginning of the week fell in the region of Rouen, where there isn't too much vegetation production. Patrick points out that vegetable production still underwent other problems. Cultivation was delayed due to winter rains until April 15th to the 20th. Usually cultivation starts in early April, but now we are 3 weeks behind. This is a problem on a European scale. So he's saying that that problem is not just centralized to where he is, but is a problem of European scale. Okay, the next one. Turkey. Hailstorm damages tons of fruit in Antalya. A hailstorm last week in Korkuteli, southern Turkey, caused significant damage to tons of fruit. Apricots were knocked from the branches by the heavy hailstorms, which also damaged foliage and turned the fields white. Growers reported that this was the second time this year that they had suffered significant financial losses due to weather-related crop damage. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, this is not just centralized here in the U.S. This is all over the world. All corners of the world are having losses of crops due to weather, due to extended winters, due to hailstorms, due to drought, even due to floods. So the point is this, is don't concentrate on what most everyone keeps talking about, either climate change in the form of warming or cooling. Concentrate on what is it that you need to do to prepare, okay? Remember the 5 B's of prepping, okay? You know, even if you get the first 3 B's of prepping, you're going to be okay. You're not wasting your money, okay? Just be smart about it. Even if you are limited in funds, be smart about the things that you get. You know, if you can't afford, you know, freeze-dried foods, get yourself a 50-pound bag of rice once a month. And then the next month, get a 20-pound bag of beans. It would be a pretty grim living to have to live on that. But you can also use that to barter with people that didn't have the forethought to get those things and get other things that you may want to supplement your diet. Just, you know, think outside the box. If you are not a person that has a lot of extra funds, and there's not many people like that in the US or in the world today, you know, then think outside the box on what you can do to prepare at least the first 3 B's of prepping. And yes, that third B of prepping is important, I feel. All right, the third B of prepping is bullets. Self-defense is very important. You don't want to be getting all of these supplies so that the toughest guy in the block can come on over to your house, knock you over the head, and take it from you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I won't get into that too much because the video is going on pretty long now. So having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I do hope that you have a great day today. Thank goodness today is Friday Eve, which means that after today, we have one more day before the weekend. So like I said, having said that, remember to be good to each other, because when good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you. Thank you all so much for your support. I hope you have a great day. So many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.